Stephen Foster.
On BBC Radio Suffolk.
BBC Radio Suffolk.
My music guest on the programme this tea time is Chris Rea.
Silence of a silent street, in the whisper of the night, from the darkness of the empty hours to the early morning light, from the hustle down on Main Street, with all its lights so bright, to the trucker on a highway, pressing through the night.
I Can Hear Your Heartbeat from Chris Rea. Had the great pleasure of interviewing Chris just under a fortnight ago at Abbey Road Studios in London. You can hear our conversation in two parts on the programme tonight. The first part will be just after 10 to 6 and then at about 6:45 here on Drive Time. Singer and guitarist Chris Rea makes no secret of his love of motor racing. He has just re-released his classic album and short film concept La Passione as a deluxe 4-disc box set. It includes new recordings, updated and previously unseen film footage and photographs, plus artwork painted by Chris himself. The project centres on his Formula One hero, Wolfgang von Tripp.
The Wolfgang von Tripp's thing, I remember him. It's a nice little story. I remember him when I was 11-year-old. My father telling me about him. He raced for Ferraris, and the Ferraris were called shark noses and everything like that. And then time passes, you grow up, and you accidentally come across this little place in Cologne, in Germany, and it says the Wolfgang von Tripp's Museum. And your whole 9-year-old past explodes in front of you. So that's what a lot of La Passione is about a little boy, red cars, and the dreams he has. We also have all of his footage that he filmed for his own holiday movies, I think you would call them. But the difference is they're all of never seen before things of Van Jost, Sterling Moss, people like that no one's ever seen before. So we've put it to music and made it a documentary. It's very interesting.
He was killed in, what, 1961?
Yep.
What are your memories of that? Do you remember hearing about that?
It was, well, they tried to not let little Chris see the accident on the news because I'm a sensitive little thing, and, you know, they were worried what might... it devastated me. It was the first person that was in my head, in my consciousness, that died. I didn't know what death was till that day, you know. Yeah, it had a big impact on me.
I remember the first person I recall dying was Jim Clark. That would have been a few years later.
Are you a motoring man, are you?
Not particularly, but I do remember listening to the radio in the bath that evening when the news came through.
Jim Clark, April 6th, 1968, Sunday. Why I never forget it is because it's the first day I ever took my wife out. That's how long we've been together.
So you followed Formula One ever since?
Oh yeah, I'm a sad victim of motor racing. You know, I've had an international licence for 20 years. I do it myself. I'm happy that I'm competent. That's about it. I'm too old to be looking for a job in a motor racing team. No, I still love it. Still love it.
And at the time of our conversation, we have another world champion, Lewis Hamilton, for a third time.
Yeah, and I'll probably get accused of being old, but it doesn't quite mean the same thing to me now. Or people who are real aficionados, because it's not as difficult as it used to be. It's not as awesome as it used to be. I know they're fast and everything like that, but if you go on YouTube and you dial in Ferrari tyre testing Monza 1993 and see and hear what used to happen, it was absolutely awesome. And now, I mean, the cars just sound horrible. They sound like they're about to break down, you know, they have this... No, it's not quite the same.
Is there too much money involved now? It really is a business, isn't it?
I think it always was a business. I don't think that's the issue. And although lots of people are talking about that, I don't think it's the right thing to be talking about. If you reduce money spent, it doesn't make a sport different. You have to change the sport. You have to change what it's about. My idea is that each driver would drive each team twice a year, so that we'd get to see Hamilton in a car at the back of the grid. We'd get to see that twice a year and see what he did. And also there'd be a lot of surprises. I mean, imagine if last weekend Lewis Hamilton was going to become world champion, but he wasn't in a Mercedes. We'd all be sat there on the edge of our seats watching. The main thing is it's not as flinchingly brutal as it used to be. That's what used to make you... I'd take people to Silverstone. It's all very clean now. Not much oil left.
So you enjoy your trips to Goodwood a bit more?
Absolutely, yeah. I was there this year. I had a problem with the gearbox, but it was still great to be there. And the smells, and like I say, the sounds. A 1995 V12 Ferrari Formula One car is just about as good as racing ever got.
Chris Rea talking to me in Studio 2 at Abbey Road Studios in London, just under a fortnight ago. More of our conversation in the next hour of the programme. Well, let's return now to my recent chat with Chris Rea, which took place in Studio 2 at Abbey Road Studios in London. And Chris has fond memories of his various visits to the Ipswich Regent down the years.
Very good. The Regent.
The Regent, that's the one, yeah.
Outside catering.
And Max Middleton would have been in your band the first 2 or 3 times you played there.
Yeah, I mean, the new La Passione, Max had a lot to do with all the orchestrations. He's good.
He certainly is. So you've obviously kept in touch with him down the years?
Yeah, he's... the tour before last he came with us, he wasn't that bothered. I think he's getting a bit not bothered as he gets older. Great musical mind.
Here we are sitting in Studio 2 at Abbey Road Studios. Is this a place that you've recorded in the past?
Many times, yeah. I mean, it's 25 years of it. And it's a nice place to promote, like we're doing La Passione. It's nice to sit somewhere where you can it's better than a hotel room. It's Abbey Road number 2. It's where the Beatles made all their records.
I mean, that must have been so inspiring when you first paid a visit here, your very first recording session here.
That was over 25 years ago now. I was very frightened. It was like, okay, here you are. What are you going to do? Didn't do so bad.
No, you didn't, did you? What would have been the first recording you made here then? The first song, do you remember that?
No. It's become such a mishmash because you were in and out of this place. It was less historical then. It was just a working studio. But now it's become a little bit special. But I can't actually remember the very first time. I'll have been too busy.
And this particular project that we're talking about today is really a case of unfinished business for you. Back in 1996, you weren't 100% happy with it at that time, were you?
No, I was very unhappy with it. But I've taken the bits we meant to be in the original, and we've added to it. We've added more Italian orchestra stuff, and there's all these paintings that go with it, which is the style of the book that is going to come out.
Some amazing artwork, Chris. I mean, how long did all this take you?
One takes about 4 days. I've got to be honest and say that yet again I was ill at the beginning of this year for quite a long time, 8 weeks. Painting is a really good way. I try and keep my mind off being ill and get through the long, long days that you have when you're ill. Once I start painting and I've got some music on, time just flies by. I just love it. I think everybody should do it. You don't need to be rich to paint.
That's very true.
It's cheaper than going to the golf club. It really is.
And therapeutic, is that the right word to describe it?
Obviously, if anyone can make 4 hours of not being very well fly by, it's got to be good for you.
What about the music side of it? How much time do you spend on your music these days?
Oh, every day. My second espresso coffee is always in front of a guitar or a piano. That's how I start every day.
Amazing. And where do you do all this now? Where are you based?
I just do it at home because of the way the computer equipment is nowadays. You don't have to be in a big studio all the time. Although I do prefer doing stuff at Abbey Road because of the enjoyment of. It's a very industrial kind of place, and you bump into lots of different people who are doing things, and you interact. It's a great place to be.
And you clearly still get a big buzz coming here, whether it be for events like this or making music.
It's never left me yet. I'm studying a form of music at the moment as we speak that I haven't tried before and want to go somewhere with it. I mean, music is my life. There aren't enough days left before you'd ever run out of it,
And you've produced some really lavish box sets down the past 20 years or so. Books, yes. Yeah. Incredible. Was that always a goal of yours? When did that sort of idea come up?
I became bored with just making 10 tracks for a CD because I do think that a 10-track album has got its limits. It's not meant to be long, and if you've made 25 and you've sold millions and millions, you want to try something new. So the Blue Guitars was 8 CDs and 1 DVD in a book all about the different kinds of blues. It was a joy to do. That's the main thing. And thankfully, sold an awful lot of copies.
And no big record company over your shoulder saying,
no,
"Boy, Chris, we want commercial recordings."
Well, what is commercial? Blue Guitars turned out to be commercial because it sold 170,000 at €30 each. Just do the maths, and it was definitely commercial. There's a certain type of record that record companies want now. Digital. Nothing to do with anything I would ever do, It's a different world.
So you're very much your own man, have been for quite some time.
A long time now, yeah. Since 1998. And thankfully things get better, so no complaints.
So the reissue of this album must mean a great deal to you. Not just a reissue, of course, a complete revamp of the whole work plus.
Well, yeah, I'm not very good at interviews in this respect because once it's finished, I'm on to the next thing. I'm on to the next project now. I've been doing it for the last 5 weeks. And this is almost like, oh yeah, did I do this? Did I paint these? Did I? Because that's last year's news to the the artist. It's okay.
We've heard you playing some wonderful jazz guitar, blues guitar, all sorts of different styles. So can you give us an insight into what's coming next from Chris Rea?
There's two things. There's Chris Rea, where it'll be solid, a different style of slide guitar playing, or a different view on it. It'll be a book. And also, no, I can't tell you the next one. Someone might nick it.
Yes, there's always that to worry about these days, that's for sure.
Who thought of that? I thought of that first.
But here we are sitting in Studio 2, surrounded by many of your works of art. Presumably, this is just a small section of what you've done down the years.
Yeah, the Blue Guitar book, I did 68 paintings for that, of these strange blue guitars in different situations. Yeah, I love painting.
They're wonderful pieces, and it's been great talking to you, Chris. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.
When I was a boy, I had a dream. It never came true, but somehow it seems when I drift away and I'm knowing so, there's a certain time and a place I go. Every heart's got its moment written on its soul. Just a minute in its lifetime of a happiness untold. For the smallest grain of sand in time, your own shadow sets you free, and you turn to your reflection, and your heart cries out, this is really me. It's the girl in the sports car, 1961, and she's sitting in her Lusso in the early morning sun. For the smallest grain of sand in time, your own shadow sets you free, and you turn to your reflection, and your heart cries out, this is really me. It's that girl in the sports car, 1961, and she's sitting in her Lusso
From the reissue of La Passione, Chris Rea and Girl in a Sports Car. Thank you very much indeed to Chris for the conversation recently in London.